Tammy, and welcome to a very special edition of Fanatics from London Comic Con. Today we have two amazing guests. We have Naomi Grossman and Jeff Kober.
I mean, I do think the fact that it transcends, languages and cultures and demographics and social strata. I mean, you know what I mean? We can all relate to those basic fears that are sort of brought up in drama. You know, if you've traveled abroad, you know, like certain comedies like do not work in other countries, you know, whereas like some slasher, you know, is scary everywhere. So, you know, that's my theory.
I like it.
But, Jeff,
My theory.
Oh, your mic's not working.
your theory's quiet.
Oh, here we go.
My theory. Now I'm being interviewed by you. Wait, maybe if I get
Hold
it
it
closer.
yourself.
No. Here. Hi. My theory is that people
There.
need to feel something, and they're all like deadened so much by the culture and by looking at their iPhones every 2 seconds and eating pizza and not being with each other. They need something really intense to get through all that layering. And it's either, you know, meditation or slasher films. It's kind of that.
The pepper makeup you can actually watch on YouTube.
I saw
Not in real time, of course, because your computer would be outdated by the time the video was done. No, but it's, they lay me back and basically there's a prosthetic brow, nose, ears, arms. I wear a fat suit. I've got a wonky lens and some teeth. So they basically like lie it down and then they glue it down and then they paint on top of it. And you know, it's like a work of art. Like by the end, you know, they're speckling with little, you know, get the freckles in just the right place so that my freckles aren't dancing around from one episode to the next. It's quite involved. Takes 2.5 to 3 hours.
Amazing.
So you don't have to ask me that. Just kidding. We were playing a drinking game earlier. How many times I get that in a given day?
I had to ask.
I'm wasted. I'm just kidding.
It's one of those things because you know someone wants to know, but honestly, I watched that YouTube. That is painful to watch. I can't imagine sitting and being put through that.
But I mean, when I think about all the dingling jobs I've had in my life, I mean, seriously, like, I've driven the Red Bull car, like, into a shopping mall because I forgot there was a can on the top. Like, I've, like, modeled nude in art classes. Like, having to, like, just sit back and, like, you know, take a 3-hour nap in the middle of my workday is actually not that bad. You'd be surprised.
Good way to look at it. And Jeff?
Getting special effects makeup is a lot like getting a tattoo. You just have to sit still and get into discomfort. It's because if you do it like more than 5 or 6 days in a row, your skin gets a little sensitive, and then you just have to. You're dealing with it, and like you said, it's sure beats digging a ditch.
Yeah.
And I've dug ditches, so yeah. There was an actor. I did a show called Alien Nation, which was. We called it The Curse of the Potato Heads because of the makeup we had to wear. But there was an actor on that show who flipped out on set and tore his makeup off. It was like day 45 or something. He just couldn't take it anymore, and he started screaming and ripped his face off. And he shoots headshots now. He's no longer an actor.
No, I guess not. That's kind of sad.
It's
But
not for everyone, okay?
No.
Don't try this at home. The reason my character was there was because for the entire season, Andy Lincoln's character had been trying to be a gardener. And he wanted to no longer be bad Andy. And so they had to push him to the brink to where he went feral. And my gang and I were we were getting revenge because he killed one of our guys, but we were going to rape all of them first, including the boy, and then kill them in front of him, which pushed him over. It was too much for him. And so he chewed my neck out. And they asked him, for his side of it, he had to have something to spit out so that it sold. And they asked him, do you want chicken or beef? And Andy is the most consummate actor I've ever worked with. This guy, he taught me something about acting. He's so committed. This is the last episode of the season. He's in every scene, and he was just like 110%, 4 o'clock in the morning, you know. And he said, which looks more like human flesh? And they said, chicken. Okay, I'll take chicken. And then they said, you want it cooked or raw? And he said, well, raw looks more like human flesh. And he said, okay, give it to me raw. So like 17 times he has raw chicken in his mouth with the blood. Yeah, that too. And the Caro syrup, red Caro syrup, blood.
Yeah.
And then he'd have to spit that out. And there were several times we were in an embrace, you know, and they would fill up his mouth and then they'd have to adjust a light. So he'd be sitting there just like turning green, and I'd have to yell at the camera people, come on, you know, the actor's dying over here. And yeah, so Andy had he didn't actually get salmonella, I don't think, but it was fortunate. Yeah.
Don't try that at home.
Don't try that at
No,
home. Yeah.
no.
I think I just really, roles that are really deep and layered appeal to me. You know, the fact that this nun that seems so sweet is actually possessed by the devil. Or, I mean, even Pepper for that matter. She's so not what she seems. You know what I mean? Like, if you notice, all anybody ever talked about at the very beginning was how disgustingly ugly I was. And then by, 3 years later, nobody's talking about that. They're talking about how sweet and lovely, and isn't that nice? You know, so it's those really meaty characters. I think Dandy Mott is another great example. Again, very well dressed. I'm torn.
So on wardrobe, do you get to keep your wardrobe?
No. I do have a big bag of ears at home.
Well, that's just creepy.
I need to bring one of these things one time. But no, I mean, that's archived. That goes to some museum somewhere, I'm sure. I really like the really psychological stuff. Like, I loved Rosemary's Baby, or again, I like her outfit. I like her haircut. I loved, The Shining. I loved Clockwork Orange. I love Vertigo, The Birds. Like, I love those sort of like old vintage art house, show don't tell.
Yeah?
There was a Wait Until Dark. That was a great horror film, psychological. And there was one called The Other, which was from the 70s.
Yeah.
John Ritter was in it, and Victor French, and Uta Hagen. Yeah, it's really, that's my favorite. Yeah.
Obviously, I'm biased, but Pepper has just had this epic journey, let's face it. When I first got that role, I didn't know that she was anything more than a glorified extra. I needed to make sure I was in more than a couple episodes in order to shave my head. But even then, when I disappeared, I went pee, if you recall, 3 episodes into Asylum, and I disappeared, and then it started airing, and people asked me, well, where's Pepper? Where'd she go? And I said, for all I knew, I'd been written out. Maybe I fell in. I don't know. We didn't know. I just know I wasn't allowed to cut my hair yet. So little did we know that not only that, I would come back, fixed by the aliens, and then it gets better 2 years later for a whole nother season with my own epic sort of origin story
Sorry, I'm just watching Jeff's reaction.
Right.
What happened?
So I guess
Aliens?
what I'm trying to say is this little character that could, I mean, I don't think anybody thought anything of her, and now, here I am with these pop Funko figures and in London, Ontario. I think she would, if anyone should survive for a crossover. I mean, she's the only crossover character. She should cross over to another show.
I agree with her.
Yeah.
That was a good answer. That was good.
I mean, it's not really, it doesn't look good for me to say it, but.
Have you actually been in a carnival? Because you did a one-woman show about
And I
being
kind
in
of
a
dressed
carnival.
carnival-y today.
Yeah, have you been in a carnival?
No, but it is kind of ironic. I have a one-woman show called Carnival Knowledge, Love, Lust, and Other Human Oddities. And it's all about it's my own autobiographical story of like being, single in Los Angeles. And the idea is it actually opens on, I'm on a midway and I'm playing a vigorous game of whack-a-weenie, like whack-a-mole, but with dildos. And, it's like a metaphor of my life. Don't be scared.
Go on her website. There are pictures. I saw it.
That's true.
It's
That's
awesome.
true. No, but the point is, I dated all these freaks. Yeah.
Yeah.
Still single.
Yeah.
Still hoe. No, but the point is, when I heard that American Horror Story Freak Show is coming up, I thought, what the heck? Like, is it me? Like, am I following it? Is it following me? Like, is Ryan Murphy plagiarized? I don't know. It's just weird. Which of The Walking Dead would be on American Horror Story?
Oh, I think the guy in my gang who was going to bugger little Carl. Probably him. He was kind of a.
The problem is I have watched your show, but only a handful of times.
Yeah.
So I haven't gotten into all.
It's not really my show. I was on there for half a season and then died.
See, all the
so.
more reason. What's the point?
Yeah, it's just I was just visiting.
I mean, everybody just looks so dirty. I don't think they'd.
Well, it's the end of the world.
Oh,
It's
right.
it's there.
Yeah, I don't know if.
There was not
We're
a lot
talking
of
about the
wardrobe
outfits
choices there.
Here.
Yeah, they need a shower to cross over.
They do need shower. I'm going to assume they showered in real life. I hope, especially Daryl's character. That man looks dirty every time I turn on that show.
Every
He's
woman
so
I
gross.
mean.
And women just want to tear their
I know.
clothes
Like I
off.
just want to put him in a shower.
They
like,
want to
just
take him
not
home
with
and wash
me.
his hair. That's what they
Yeah,
want
like
to do
just
to
go
Daryl.
wash yourself. You're filthy.